Here we go. All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the RushInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Woohoo! Party! Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Woohoo! All the Blink fans, big shout out to you. One of Liam's favorite songs. Happy September. We are not officially into the fourth quarter, but coming into the tail end of the summer. I suppose the last day of the summer, I think, is the 20th of September. Bit of a funny week here because Monday is a official sort of government holiday. And sort of the official back to work event. But the problem here, of course, is 2020. What a mess. Do kids go back to school and then do they, within a week or two be sent right back home because COVID cases are absolutely out of control? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Do people even bother coming back from the Hamptons? Maybe they set up the satellite? Nah, to hell with that. I'm just going to work from the Hamptons. Who knows? 2020 can't write better fiction than reality, eh? I will say, of course, the general theme of this year has been clearly heightened anxiety, heightened emotional response. Unfortunately, that doesn't really always lead to good investment decisions. Markets extremely volatile within this uncertainty. Happen to have caught the market rising here, and of course, as long as the Federal Reserve in the United States and generally ECB and Japan Central Bank, and the others, Bank of England, Bank of Canada, Bank of Australia, etc., etc. As long as the general tone there from them is supportive, accommodative, that kind of stuff like that, I find it very hard that the stock market falls apart and crashes, unless we get sort of these non-economic drivers, things like COVID, shut the economy down, totally outside influence. So, also too, I'm a little bit worried, but interestingly enough, it doesn't really affect the market negatively, but the drumbeats of war are really starting to resonate around the world. So don't be shocked if you start seeing bullets flying in the not too distant future. As for the market, I'm counseling people not to believe, don't, for heaven's sakes, don't come into the market right now and think, okay, well, I'm buying value, I'm buying quality, I'm buying when the public is selling, I'm buying where other institutional players are buying. This is a frothy, uppy, very typical late summer crypto kind of environment where the story du jour, if you happen to be in that space and you happen to be trading those kind of names, you can make, remember this is venture capital, you can make 10x, 100x on your money really quickly. That is the hallmark of venture capital. So actually we spent Tuesdays at TRI is a day where I like Kevin to talk to the community a bit. It's a privilege and a treat for us. Kevin, you want to say hi to the good people on YouTube so they at least know what your voice sounds like?
Hey, everyone.
So TRI's got a good half hour, 45 minutes of what's on Kevin's mind this morning, which I thought was super cool. And of course, Kevin does have quite a crypto bent, and we obviously, went down the DeFi conversation rabbit hole. And also, too, we have another TRI OGer who's actually gone on and does video podcasts himself on another site, Hero Exchange, or Hero, I think it's called. I wrote it down, HERO. That's what I'm supposed to know. But anyway, Colin. And actually, Colin's thinking about coming on the Daily Brief on Friday. Sort of a dovetail with his show that he does on his site afterward. So, any TRI OGers or whatever, if you missed the Daily Brief today, he was on the call there. And the three of us had a nice little banter about DeFi and potential plays. And this is what I absolutely love about TRI. And somebody even made a comment in the comments recently that, the atmosphere that you surround yourself while you are running your small business of trading can make a huge difference in your attitude. I feel like I'm out here on my own. I feel like sharks are, nipping at my heels trying to steal my money. Half of the reason why I built this community was it's a nice, safe, warm, comfortable blanket you can come and hang out in, and people like to help each other learn. And one of our, and I actually tweeted it out through the Daily Brief conversation today, one of our OGers also happened to find this resource. And frankly speaking, this is not a bad little sort of, you want a name that's going to, has a good potential of going a little bit apeshit here over the next week through this sort of funny window in the market. If your name is on this screen that you see, then probably odds are it's going to get some play. So, thankfully, I do have a few of these names, so I'm participating. Whether it be on purpose or by accident, I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, I do have some names. And we even looked at, even the dot name itself. If this trade has traction and traders got to trade, well, levels are levels. So we picked apart that chart, and actually I think I have it on we picked apart that chart, and it's interesting. There might be some potential trade setting up there as well. So, as we work our way through this last ending gasp of the summer season, don't be surprised if there's some screwiness going on in big indexes and stuff like that. Looks like right out of the gate yesterday they pulled a big sort of woohoo on the market. Do you really believe that level is the level? I don't know. Because there aren't any W's working here, we can't really even think about a bottom here yet. But you can see we've got 78.6 off the entire range, which is the original double bottom way down here. So that's probably a level that probably a lot of people are eyeing when they look left. We often say if you want to know what's going to happen in the market, look left, and you can see the next serious key support pivot line for the US dollar index is down here at 89.26. Now we might, and this is my hunch, because we have these chaos levels right here, what we might find is the push down runs into actually buying interest off of this original. This is what we call a Wyckoff check, where there's the bottom, and they just bring the market back down to the original bottom. All the people that missed the trade here have got open orders working, and ding 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 ding, they get their fills. Buyers coming in, so the downside bearish selling pressure goes chaotic, because hey, buyers are coming in, and maybe even guys who are short off the top, they're going to come in and buy the positions back. So as it stands, is there anything for me to do here today? Nope. Are they maybe setting up a bit of a trap, considering holiday weekends coming up and the pros are theoretically coming back to business? Are we going to find that the pros come back to business and go, holy shit, the US dollar is on sale, and just go, buy it up. Also, too, probably a little bit more subtle of a message for the market here is US fiscal year end is the end of September. So it's not a surprise historically why we see a lot of monkey business. And actually, for whatever it's worth, if you're curious at all, statistically, September is the worst performing month in the stock market going back since its inception. So betting on a bull in a September is not really, sort of swimming with the tide. But is anything about 2020 swimming with the tide? I mean, this is all about confusion. If anything, I get the feeling that they're setting a base for the next growth cycle. So let's get the public all freaked out, totally confused, thinking end of the world, thinking things can only get worse from here, when actually this is the time when you really should invest. I.e., you probably heard me say this before, but great stock market expression by a guy I used to literally everything he did and said, I eat, lived, and breathed. A gentleman by the name of Louis Rukeyser. And he used to always say, this is the only business when stuff goes on sale, nobody wants to buy. And, what you saw there last March was a perfect example of that. So, U.S. dollar, wishy-washy. Summer, end of summer, wishy-washy. I don't really want to believe any of this until the pros come back. And the U.S. dollar, frankly speaking, look at this. This thing, just looking at this thing to me looks cheap. It looks like it's at the bottom end of the range, not the top end of the range. Well, so what? That's Brian's opinion. Doesn't mean jack shit. As for stocks, we did have a bit of a doji day yesterday, a bit of an indecision. I don't know whether we have enough to actually call a top again, end of summer. In this kind of environment, it would take some serious selling, like some sort of serious news to rock the market. And ironically enough, if anything, what I'm hearing now, which is so cliche, it's almost like, they wrote the script and they're following the script. We want to try and make sure this guy, Trump, is reelected. The market was overbought last January, so let's kick the shit out of the market, get that overboughtness resolved, and then into the end of the election, they can take this thing and have it very, very strong. So, number one, the Fed is not perceived to be influencing the political process. But also, too, and I hate to say it, but, I honestly believe Mr. Trump and the business community, if they had a vote, now they own the politicians, so it's not like they vote themselves. But through this fugazi of an election, I think that the business community and the people, banksters, all that kind of people we hate, I think they would prefer to have Mr. Trump remain as president of the United States. Of course, there are international participants that I think are lobbying very hard to have Mr. Trump removed from office. You can all fill in the blank there, and I think it goes something, 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 don't get something. So, are there huge political forces at work here in the market? Absolutely. Is the public getting finessed to a certain degree? Absolutely. The public always gets finessed. Even before we started this, Kevin and I were joking, our insurance policies are a bit underwater because we look at this market and as technicians, we kind of go, well, we're up at the top of the range. Probably a good idea to start buying some insurance policies, but actually picking this top the day that it breaks, it's kind of like this. I mean, where's your goddamn M's, Brian, that are supposed to get me the perfect short trade? That just didn't happen. And keep in mind, the market's not designed to help you make money. The market's actually designed to take your money away from you. So, buying some insurance in here. But remember, I'm also long a lot of stocks. So, of course, if stocks keep popping higher, I'll just keep selling. And believe it or not, actually, I've gotten some justification to step in on the buy side in some names. A bit leery about stepping in too hard in this kind of environment. And sure enough, guys like Barstool guys, they get beat up through this. But now that the market has actually kind of washed itself out and our fast indicator went oversold, you can see the slow is catching up. If these things cross back up, then we're going to head right back into another bull here. So be prepared. Having said that, I thought it was interesting, the little chart that we show you guys. You can kind of see that confirmation of that potential turn here, and the small caps are trying to go and actually W out here versus the big caps. So that is that breadth. The broader market is trying to turn back up. And W's are W's are W's. I mean, that's one tight-ass W. So I'm not going to say, how reliable that is. I personally like these really wide, fat double bottoms. Really got some meat on the bones there. These tight little double bottoms, they work. Maybe that sets up a counter trend rally back up into this original. In fact, actually, what is that? Like a quadruple top there or something. So, but, that sort of breadth indicator, we've been sniffing around. We're getting some buy signals on our technical screeners. That sort of speaks to that. And of course, this is the small cap stock universe. I suppose if we could put like a small cap crypto kind of universe, think of sort of like this as like ETH versus BTC, kind of like that dominance conversation. Clearly right now ETH is just going for it, right? Whereas the chart just surging higher here. And actually, I don't know whether I did. I think I just did this for sight people, but I can't remember if I talked about this with the Broiler Chickens crowd. But really cool. Actually a buy signal came in on this ETH hourly chart last night. And you can see it just straight up. So interesting on ETH. Not only did we get L Tangonators and LJs fire, and they hit their 2-to-1 profit objectives. I thought this was fascinating. On the profit objective hit, on this setup, a new setup fire saying, well, we're not done yet. And interesting, if you would just use this market structure to frame your risk on entering in kind of a shitty trade location here, to be honest with you. But what another great analogy of two very, very different approaches to trading. One, sort of thinking that buying the bottom end of the range, looking for a test of the top end of the range. And then another, just a strictly power momentum trade setup, both of them producing 2-to-1 risk rewards. Just a fantastic illustration of there is a million different ways to skin this cat. The key here is we got to figure out what actually works for you. Are you an RSI fan? Okay, fine. So be it. Are you an L Tangonator, LJ, trendline kind of fan? Well, okay, so be it. But the point here is I can't tell you actually how to trade. I can't tell you what trade setups to trade. You actually have to go through the process of learning how all these things work and go, well, you know what? That's the one that I really like. That one really speaks to me. So, really interesting analogy of a trader's life. Point I'm trying to make here is clearly Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem, this whole DeFi conversation. It is dominating the crypto space right now. If you look at like dominance kind of indicators and stuff like that, I think they're all. Actually, I should probably have it right here. Yeah, dominance just completely collapsing. This right now, this is a DeFi orgy. orgy. And just, if you want to play, just try to make darn sure that you've got some exposure somewhere on this universe, because it looks to me like that's the hot part of the market. Also, too, it's the end of the summer. Very typical time for crypto to go apeshit. How does it go? Buy when it snows, sell when it goes. So we're not snowing right now. This isn't the time to be really buying. If anything, you should be farming and taking profits. If you want to take new positions, I like the idea of buying against the bottom end of ranges. But, if you're thinking trend continuation, then we want to be thinking things like bot setups. And, I think I showed, I didn't show you, but we walked through this dot here today. If you do want to participate in this, it's not really something that floats my boat, but we did walk through. Actually, this tail looks a little lower. Is there a different one that didn't have this tail on here, Kevin? I seem to remember the one that you showed us, it didn't have this, but maybe it did. Binance. Oh, I'm on Kraken. Okay. Something along these lines. In fact, actually, Kevin, if you want to just grab the, I don't know whether you still have it, but if you grab the screen write-up that you did, I'll just show these good people, and then I don't have to do all these levels. It's up to you, dude. I'm
Yeah, sure. Here, hold on.
Okay. It's a really pretty chart that he put together. So There's no point in me wasting 10 minutes building the chart out if he's done a better job at it than me.
I
Uh,
mean, let's see. Here it is.
yeah, I mean, I love you guys don't hear enough from Kevin in the public videos, but it's great working with Kevin. He's so awesome. In fact, actually, I did my 3 affirmations on the day, which I like to do on the site and the daily briefs, and I gave a huge shout out to Kevin. Um, so there's the bot levels on dot. So, and it's interesting how trend line breaks. You can see the 25 level, 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, 4 lows. You can see the cute little double bottom that came in here. I mean, this would be an example of front running the trade. I prefer me to try and take the trades on the other side of this trend line. So I would love for the market just to work its way along here. Give me a nice little, say, hourly buy signal or something. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's some divs working here on the hourly charts. But, if you want to play this, you can see where the Foggenbaum chaos levels are suggesting we would need to get up into. And this is just a simple A, B, C, D takes us up to $10. So, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is a lock, guaranteed. I mean, you know that. That's not the point of this channel. If you are a trader and bot setups are in your trading plan, and this thing presented a very good looking setup that met all your criteria, I would just simply say, why are you not in the trade? That's about as best we can leave it. I had a fantastic conversation we had. Like I said, we had Colin, we had Kevin, we had Joshua throwing in some outside references, and I think we actually dissected this market and said, okay, well, if I do want to participate, what are the levels I should be thinking about? So I really liked the conversation that we had there. So the point here is that, late summer silly season, crypto's obviously enjoying a bit. It's interesting how Bitcoin has now come up into a level that I had sort of been talking about with the public, that I thought if there's going to be a fight and we're going to find out whether this really is a bull or whether this is actually a massive head and shoulders, it was going to be at around this 12,000. And here we are, 12,100, whatever and whatever. So, you can see RSI has not made new highs. That's got to be a bit concerning. You want to make this really simple on us, Mr. Market, just go take this high out. Bang. Just blast it out through here. And I've talked repeatedly in videos before. What we really don't want to see is you don't want to see the market come up here and just stop. And then tomorrow it carves in an inside bar and that inertia is gone and back down we go. So let's get out there and buy some Bitcoins. Bitcoin's $12,000? What the hell? It's cheap. Not. But, what's the value of money? Obviously, it's not a trade I'm going to touch. If this is, and keep in mind, just because I'm not going to touch it, that doesn't mean the damn thing can't go straight up. But if I actually did want to come in on the buy side and actually add risk to my portfolio, really, I got to see a bit more consolidation. So, Mr. Mountain Man has stepped in on his level, and I thought it was fascinating looking at the price action on that event. You can literally see, wicks and tails like to be eaten. You've heard me talk about that before. And we come up right into here, and if we just look at this, I mean, why aren't we just blasting our way through here? Instead, we came up into that level and just, stopped. So don't go and M out here, you son of a gun. Just keep working your way higher and break to new highs here, please. Clearly, if she does M out here, then we all got to cool our jets again. So, end of the summer. Lots of fun. Never a dull moment, that's for darn sure. I'll have to say, I'm pleased to see. Keep in mind, I'm long a lot of crypto. I think Julian's got like 300 Ethereum or something. So, you know, put more money in my pocket. I suppose I can live with that. Do I really want to come in on the buy side up here? No. If you do want to play this DeFi orgy, I don't think Ethereum is the way to play it, right? You know, the buys were way back here, maybe another buy in here. Coming in awfully nosebleedy up here. My sort of play here, the way that I like to think about this is like I showed you that image of all those DeFi names. Also, too, another way you can play this Ethereum, and I am in the stock market, is names like IMIN. Technically, they are an Ethereum miner. You can see the head and shoulders here. You can see that it's just ready to go. I don't know whether I'd really want to buy at 8. I think I'm long from like 5-6 cents, somewhere in this area. In fact, I think the last big pop we had, which was last summer, what a surprise. I got myself into a free position here. I can't remember if I reloaded or not. But point here is Ethereum miner. He should work his way higher. And then names like this, I don't understand this company. They are advertising, and obviously online advertising done a lot of stuff. So that should be a good business model. And they've actually asked to be paid in equity. So you see what the stock market's done. Do you think that was a smart move by their part? I think so. So this looks very cup and handle-y to me. So this is the cup. And I'm probably talking way too much here today, but oh well. So your cup looks something like that. And the handle looks something like this. I'm just eyeballing it. So, and this is a clothesline, right? If we show you the wicks, they go all the way up there. But, if this cup and handles and we do resolve higher here, it's painting all the way up into here. So I'll be more than happy to sell halves on doubles if that happens. So, it's this late summer silly market. Enjoy it. I don't know whether I could really justify stepping in front of the corn here. My sort of rant to the site, and I think it's a general conclusion that we sort of had, was, Willie was officially stupidly overbought, so you probably better cool your jets. That's cleaned itself up now, but you notice that we've actually now W'd and starting to work our way higher. Probably not a good idea to step in front of this, especially with the moving average now turning back, sloping up. It's probably not a good idea to step in front of this until this thing loses some sort of momentum here. So I'm not really in the business of calling tops. In fact, I don't really like to make predictions. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. All I'm going to simply say is, we talked about this before, if you are a bull, 12,023, you'd like to see the market consolidate off of this level to move higher. Probably paints 14 and change. If you are a bear, then you want to see the market roll over here through 11 and change, which in the near term I think paints around 9 grand. As it stands right at the present, it's still just stuck in that range. And as I showed you on that other chart, we just came into a level where the range traders are actually going to seriously step up and take bets here. So that's what I think's going on. And as I said, you want to make this really easy. I'm a bull. Just blast this thing up through these highs. It's not that big of a deal. It's what? $600? Close it above, what does that say? 12.4? And we're sitting right now basically at $12,400. Like, I mean, come on. If you're really a bull, just go take that out. But I don't know whether I really believe this is really a bull here. I think it's got to clean up a bit more. And remember, just because I think something, so what? Doesn't mean anything. The market will do any old damn thing it wants, as we say. Heading on over to alts, and I showed you that dot chart. This happens to be off crack, and it's got this funny tail, so it doesn't really set up well. But I really like Kevin's analysis. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that this thing's going to work its way higher, but clearly the DeFi orgy is well underway. They're having a great time. We've got a funny bunny market state right now where they can do anything in the market for the next, for 4 days or so. Could this thing complete this continuation trade bought higher as Ethereum keeps going? Sure, why not? So, are you buying value? Probably not. But you want to make money in the short term momentum wise? Cool. Some of the value names I'm kind of interested in. Here's Decred back down at the original bottom. So I like that kind of name in here. These aren't these DeFi names, though. So they might be a bit boring, really. Geo, same thing. Dash. Nobody likes Dash. All right, I'll go buy some of that. Augur. I can't get Augur to come down here. Wouldn't mind getting some more of that. Even names like SC now, you look at this chart over the long term, I can actually start working bids. And Kevin spent some time showing the community some levels there too. I gotta say, you want to make some money from this whole capitalist experience? I can't tell you how many of these charts look exactly like this. I have no idea if this thing's going to survive. Nobody does. But if you had like $20 and you just pick 20 names that look like this, and you just put $1 into 20 different names, could you see half of them move up sometime over the next 5 years? Up into like 38.2s of these entire ranges? Sure. Sell half when it doubles, get yourself free position. Rest writes itself. So, that's the kind of market it is. I don't like chasing. I like working bids off bottom ends of ranges. So I couldn't come in and buy Ethereum here. Did it move higher? Yep. If I wanted to buy Ethereum now, I draw my reload zone. Interesting, on that burst to new high, look how my buying window moved that much, or basically almost nothing. The buying window is still sitting down here, down between 61.8 and 78.6. That's the way that I kind of approach the market. I remember I'm a risk-first approach kind of guy, so I can't come in and buy something up top here. It's just against the rules. Anyway, okay, I don't know whether I gave you much value here today. Obviously, DeFi orgy, have fun. Set yourself up in assets that are trading at the bottom end of ranges and get doubles, orders to sell, halves on doubles working, that kind of stuff. Nothing really to do on any of these major markets. Nothing really to even update. So it's just big hurry up and let's get through the end of the summer. And let's see what the pros are feeling like when they come back. In the interim, have some fun in Crypto Kitties land. Just make damn sure not to get caught holding the bag when all of this orgy finishes. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Sure hope you got some value out of all that. All the best. Remember, we have our raffle for the upcoming school term. Pop on over to that page. Kevin added the link in the description. Throw your name and your email address in here. You want to comment in the comments? I love that. Tell me a little bit about something you've learned from these videos. It's a great interactive experience for me through the day to actually see you guys have actually learned stuff. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking now. All the best, and bye for now.